2 of Queen's Court, where we visit Monday Night Raw from the very beginning to all the way to today. And my name is Breigh, the Tribal Queen. Alongside me, we got Husky Rhodes over here, and we got Mike Duplessis down here. How's it going, guys?
It's going good. That's going good. So I know that we kind of gave you some homework. Did you end up seeing any Shawn Michaels stuff?
This week has honestly been so crazy and insane. I have not had time yet. Fair. So I still have that written down to do that this week.
Fair. Cool.
So I gotta say, first, right off the bat, this one was definitely better than the first one in terms of like the commentary and like the matches. Yeah. But it's still a little rough to watch. Gonna be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. Some of the stuff doesn't really. Time did not do well to some of it.
Yeah.
I mean, just like the first, it's not as egregious as the first one, but yeah, it starts out kind of rough, especially given current circumstances with the whole play on the Sinead O'Connor SNL tearing up the Pope thing, with Rob Bartlett tearing up the Bobby Heenan picture, fight the real enemy. Like, I was like, if Sinead hadn't passed, it'd be like, all right, I see what you're doing here. But given the circumstances, it's a little rough.
Yeah. Like, the one complaint, I had said this to Mike. I said there wasn't any Bobby besides one time.
I know. It's like, come on.
I was looking forward to him trying to get back into the venue, or like the episode starting with him on the roof or something, trying to get back into the venue.
Yeah.
But instead we just get him on a phone call.
Yeah.
That is like, go ahead.
Pretty sure this is like the end of his run.
Yeah, because he goes back to WCW shortly after this.
It was shortly after next week's episode of Raw.
Yeah. So we don't get much more Bobby Heenan in Raw. But I will say, with like the phone call thing, like, I thought that was kind of cool. Like, during like later on when we'll talk about the Marty Jannetty match where Shawn Michaels calls in, like, that's cool. Like, I dig that. I kind of wish they would do something like that in today's product. I think that would be really interesting.
Yeah, the old school phone call-ins were always great to me.
Oh yeah, they were so good.
And like, that was the first time I've seen that, so I'm like, oh, they really did that back then? That is so cool.
Yeah, that was a thing back then. Like, they would do like people would be walking to the ring, and they would have like a pre-taped promo that they would like do like a little picture-in-picture gimmick and like do that. That was a cool touch that they used to do.
They did that pretty much until like the early 2000s.
Yeah, they did that for a while.
Yeah.
I don't know what made the change for them.
Stupidity, probably. Vince.
He no longer thought it was good shit.
Or it's probably Kevin Dunn's dumbass.
Oh, fucking Kevin Dunn. Bucky Beaver.
Only thing
That's another research question. Why did they stop doing the phone calls?
Yeah, we need to figure out what was the cause for the stoppage of that.
So it started out basically the same as last time. Vince, Rob Bartlett, and Randy, which first I have to say I love Randy's gear.
Oh yeah.
He's so colorful.
He had this time frame of Savage. He had the best gear.
His outfits are amazing. For
the matching hat, jacket, like he was crushing.
Yeah.
But then his hat got taken away. Because first Rob tore up a picture of Bobby, and then Randy gets attacked. I didn't know who it was at first, and I had to play it back, and it was Repo Man that attacked him and took his hat.
Barry Darsow
Formerly Demolition Smash.
Yeah. And then a jobber with many characters in WCW.
Oh yeah, he was what was his
He had
fucking
a golfing gimmick. He had a bunch of different gimmicks in WCW that were just
the
bad.
infamous King of the Road match.
Yeah.
We covered on the Wrecking Crew, the King of the Road match with what was his fucking name? Blacktop Bully.
Yeah,
Blacktop Bully. He was just an evil trucker.
Yeah.
They both got fired from WCW after that match because they told them you can't bleed. Meanwhile, the fucking match is in like a hay trailer with like these like crazy like metal partitions in it and stuff like that.
Isn't gonna bleed.
Right. They both got juiced. Either they bladed or did hard way or whatever. But WCW immediately fired them after the match.
Yeah.
Because of that. But yeah, it was good seeing Repo Man. I hadn't like seen any of the Repo Man stuff in years and years and years. So when he came out, I was just like, yeah, let's go. The goofy in WWE. I love it.
Yeah, they kind of scatter it throughout the episode too. Because like Randy will get up and try and find him, and then at the end, I mean, I know we'll talk about the end, but like they kind of scatter it throughout the whole episode.
I'm not gonna lie, when the first match happened and like Savage was like in the back, not on commentary, and it was just Vince and Rob, I was just like, fuck, this better not be the rest of the show. Like I don't know if I can handle it if it's the rest of the show, but luckily he comes out midway through the match, so it's like, oh, thank God.
That was a great first match though.
It was a fantastic first match.
Yeah, because it was terrific Terry Taylor versus Mr. Perfect.
I forgot how great Terry Taylor is in the ring.
Oh yeah, Terry Taylor
underrated as hell.
Definitely is not talked about enough for his in-ring work. Terry Taylor is awesome, and Mr. Perfect, I mean,
shows why he should have been WWF champion.
Thank you. Thank you. That man was so fucking good in the ring, and it like the name suits him because really like it's hard to really go back and find a bad Mr. Perfect match, and if there is a bad Mr. Perfect match, it ain't his fault.
No.
Like even with this one, like it was like a good back and forth. Like it wasn't completely one-sided. Like they both got their offense in. And then we had an appearance from Ric Flair too.
Yeah. This is right before Flair leaves.
Yeah.
To go back to WCW. He comes out midway through the match because he's feuding with Mr. Perfect at the time. So he comes out and attacks him and then like throws him back in the ring and then just immediately runs back to the back. It's like, you're not going to see this out. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then Perfect wins, like gets back in the ring. Terry Taylor gets him up. It's like, yeah, I got the upper hand. Yeet, psych, boom, got you. Immediately gets the 3, doesn't even get his hand raised. He's like, fuck this, and just runs to the back trying to find Flair. It's like, that's awesome. And the stuff that they do later on in the night is fucking so good.
And then we had Bobby call in and confronting Mr. Rob. And then he talked, and then he was talking to Randy.
Yeah.
Too. Yeah.
Took a shot at Randy for whatever reason.
Because it's Bobby Heenan. Bobby Heenan just wants to take shots at people. It's just what he does. Yeah. So we got the Bobby Eaton call in, and then we have the Bret Hart promo.
All right.
And I literally I was like, Bret Hart talking about Rumble match against Razor, and then in all capitals, Bret Hart sucks ass at promos.
Yeah, I was not impressed.
Yeah, the promo bored me, and I was talking to Breigh with this off air. The crop top jacket with the jeans is such a weird look for a grown-ass man.
90s, dude. It's that early 90s shit, dude. The weird fashion sense.
I mean, all he said,
looking at that.
all he said was like, he's the best and he's gonna beat him, and it's like, well, okay.
Yeah, that's the stereotype for like 70s on with the promos. It's basically just like, I'm the best, here's why, I'm gonna beat you at X match. And
it was kind of like the Razor Ramon promo from last week.
Yeah, no,
but Scott Hall can cut a promo though.
Yeah.
And
he did in the show too.
Doesn't bore you to death.
Yeah. I literally do. That promo is like 3 minutes. I watched this this morning. Mm-hmm. It took me no shit like 40 minutes to watch this promo because I kept getting up. Dude, I kept getting up. I was just like, I can't fucking listen to this guy talk. Like, granted, I'm sorry, Justin. I know this is your YouTube channel and Bret Hart mark, but god damn it, that guy cannot talk. I'm sorry. Like, it is.
And his matches are boring, and I'm not apologizing.
I like his matches, but like
I cannot watch a Bret Hart match to save my life.
If he just the man needed a mouthpiece. If he would have had a mouthpiece, he would be arguably the greatest of all time. But no, he wants to talk, and Bret Hart will talk, especially later on in his career. He won't shut the fuck up about Bill Goldberg.
Mm-hmm.
Or Hulk Hogan.
Well, yeah.
And then we had Marty Jannetty versus Glenn Ruth. That was
Glenn Ruth. Fun fact about Glenn Ruth. Mike knows who this person is.
He looked familiar. Where do I know him from?
That is Thrasher of the Headbangers.
It is. Okay, that's why he looked familiar. I was like, all right, this face.
Yeah,
so
that is
the jobbing work before getting the contract.
That is one half of the Headbangers Thrasher. It's so wild seeing him with hair.
It is. That's what threw me off was the hair.
Right.
And like I wrote down in my notes, what the fuck is Marty wearing? Is that his normal?
That's the Rockers gear.
Yeah, that's the old school Rockers
gear that him and Shawn Michaels would wear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the theme song is the Rockers theme song.
Yeah.
And he's still rocking that gear. A little down the line, he's reforms the Rockers.
The new Rockers. With Al Snow.
With Leif Cassidy, better known as Al Snow.
So wild.
Wrestling has this thing where if a successful tag team breaks up and then one person from that team decides, I'm going to make a new version of it, it always goes over like a fart in church. It never works out.
No.
And
that was a point in Al's career where they were just giving him gimmicks. Like he's a different gimmick every month.
He was a ninja for a while, and then they put him with Marty Jannetty, and then they sent him to ECW and he went crazy.
Yeah.
And he found a mannequin head in a locker room somewhere, and it
was in a garbage can.
Oh yeah, it was.
With Steve. Yeah. That's a great story.
Well, Mick Foley apparently, Al Snow talks about it. Mick Foley apparently had like this mannequin head that he was putting the Mankind mask on.
Yeah.
And it was like him. It was like those two, Bob Holly and somebody else riding in a car. Yeah, I think it was Stevie Richards. They were riding in a car together, and Mick would talk to the head like it was his girlfriend while they were on the road just to like fucking pop each other. And Al's like, I'm gonna steal that. And he's like, I'm already talking to myself and stuff while in my character. I'm just gonna find this fucking mannequin head, write help me on it backwards, and have full-on conversations with it and get way over. Like crazy stuff. All right, what do we got next? Oh, before the Marty Jannetty match, I just wrote Paul Bearer is the GOAT because of the Headlock for Hunger promo. It's goofy, but like Percy Pringle is untouchable.
Yeah,
I had to replay that a few times because I'm like, what is he saying? What's going on? But it was so great.
God, I love Paul Bear so much. Like, I know he's trying to be spooky, but every time I just hear that voice, it pops me every time. Oh, yes. It's so fucking good. I love it. It's beautiful. Rest in peace, Percy.
And during Marty's match, Sean calls in. Yeah. He says he still knows what's going on in Marty's head and that Sherry's madly in love with him and will do whatever the kid wants.
Yeah. Whenever I talk, Sherry listens. Like, this is a time in Shawn Michaels' career that kind of like really baffles me because everybody knows Shawn Michaels for using the sweet chin music. He was not using the super kick as his finisher at this time.
No.
It was a belly to back suplex. Mm. He would use the super kick, but he would just use it as like a setup move.
Yeah, that was a signature.
Yeah, which was wild to see. Like, see him winning matches with like a back suplex. It's like, dude, you've got a way more interesting thing that you're doing just like mid-match willy-nilly. Like, fucking use that. And then luckily he finally did.
Mm-hmm. And even like this match, like I felt like Marty got most of the offense in. Like it almost seemed like a lengthy squash match.
Yeah,
it was. Almost. It was a lengthy squash match.
Yeah, it was to build up for their match at the Rumble. So they're like, let's let Marty look good for this because we know he's jobbing out the fucking Michaels at the Rumble.
Yeah.
So I think so. Wait, is this because I know Marty won the Intercontinental title? Did he win it at that Rumble? If I remember correctly.
No, because I think he won it on a Raw.
Oh yeah, he won it on a Raw. That's right. Never mind.
Yeah.
Which by the way, we need to do like a quick recap of the Rumble because I think the Rumble happens before the next episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they said it was on a Sunday night, the Rumble.
Yeah. So before the next Raw, it's the Rumble. So I think we should do like it doesn't have to be the full show, but we can do like a quick recap of some like highlights and stuff.
Yeah.
And then speaking of the Rumble, it was pretty much, I put down in my notes, very much a Rumble focused episode because then they did like a full like preview of like some of the matches.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, they showed a flashback from I didn't know this was a show, WF Superstars.
Yeah, that was the weekend show.
Yeah.
They showed that
Saturday morning show.
Yeah, Saturday morning show.
Like they showed Doink trying to give Crush a flower and then took him out by a cast.
Yeah, the fake arm. Dark is that board is so good.
Doink was such a great heel. Like I love it to death. Just seeing him. And the thing is, like, they didn't stop that beat down. They just stood around like, no, what are you doing? What are you doing? He's just beating ass with that thing. Just going ham on him. And I'm like, is somebody gonna fucking tackle him or something? Like, what? You're just letting this go? He's just like, he's hitting him in the head with it and shit. Like, it was insane.
They're just like, let the clown. I'm too scared of the clown. Let him do what he's doing.
I'm too scared of the clown.
And then we get our first appearance from Sean outside with Repo Man, and he's got Randy's hat again. And he says he's going to put the boots to Savage.
I just wrote, the audio on this is terrible because you can't hear half of what Repo Man's saying. And then I also just put absolutely unhinged because this fucking promo is nuts. Because they're both crazy people. Mm-hmm. So like it's it's
the weirdest 1 week, 2 week like feud ever. Because it's literally this Raw and next Raw where they're just like, oh, so we're just gonna have him steal a hat and this be a thing for 2 weeks. Okay.
Yeah. Like, sure. Let's get Savage on the card. Why not? Fuck it. He's bitching about not one to be on commentary. Fucking let's get him back in the ring finally.
It's very Darso.
Yeah. And then we had a promo from Razor Ramon again, second week in a row. And he kept calling, I put in my notes, he kept calling Brett Chico.
Yeah.
And,
Chico.
Yeah.
Before that was, wait. Okay, yeah, there was that. And then there was also the Mean Gene setup for like selling the Royal Rumble. And I put Mean Gene Okerlund could sell a ketchup popsicle to a woman in white gloves. Like, that dude
it's
will
so good.
He will make anybody buy any pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's why Mean Gene was the best at what he did.
And then it cut to Sean again after that. And then Randy was outside looking for Repo Man.
Just insane. Just absolutely insane.
And that continued to the end. But the third match was my first Ric Flair match versus El Matador.
You've never seen a Ric Flair match?
Besides his last match. Besides
the Sean match?
Besides the horrible match when he shouldn't have wrestled in.
Oh, you're talking about the last match.
Yeah,
you're talking about.
Yeah. No, girl, you need to watch Flair in his prime. Like,
more homework.
Every time I talk to you, Breigh, or we do one of these things, I learn more and more about you, and it's upsetting.
It is upsetting. Like, yeah, they're like literally just watch anything other than that last match. I mean, this match is good.
Why would you watch that, by the way? Like, what was the necessary reason? I skipped that.
I don't know.
I watched it because of morbid curiosity.
Yeah, I think I was drunk and I thought, I'll watch it.
I watched the rest of the card though. The rest of the card on that match was crazy. It went fucking hard. Like the Briscoes were on it.
I watched the Bunkhouse Brawl match. That's the only thing I watched.
What's that?
The Bunkhouse Brawl, whatever.
Oh, the Bunkhouse Brawl. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the only thing I watched from that card.
I watched like the rest of the card. The rest of the card was nuts. I literally could not make it to the final match because I saw him walk into the ring and I'm like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I can't do this. I'm like, nope. I'm gonna watch my childhood die. No thanks. I'm good. I can't fucking do it.
Yeah. I watched the clips on TikTok and I was like, oh, bloody Ric Flair. I'm happy I missed that.
Bloody Ric Flair. I mean, Ric Flair at one point was like how John Moxley is now.
Yeah, it's true. He
Flair will bleed because he's got the platinum blonde hair and it's a fucking sick visual when he gets fully bloody and stuff.
I think he has a disease because the way he bleeds, it's just too much.
No, I think he gets drunk before he goes out.
That also could be
because I've heard that. Take a couple aspirin, drink a beer or two. And when
it thins your blood. Yeah. Oh
yeah. So when you fucking blade and shit, it comes out.
That explains a lot of the 80s and 70s wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that makes sense.
Oh yeah, them boys were slamming fucking Bud Heavy and then going out and gotta get used to put butts in seats, too.
Yeah. I mean, I did like his robe though.
Oh yeah. His robes were always classic.
Yeah. And again, Tito at the end of his career could still go. That was
yeah. Fun fact, Breigh. Tito Santana, the man wrestling Ric Flair in this, is the first Mexican-American born intercontinental champion of all time.
Yeah.
Oh,
classic,
wow.
Yeah. Classic worker, did a bunch of stuff in the 70s and 80s. This was towards the tail end of his career. I think he only wrestled for like 2 more years after this.
Yeah,
he
would come back and do indie spots in the early 2000s.
Yeah. And also, apparently, he's a middle school teacher now.
What?
Yep, down in Texas.
Yeah,
wow.
He's a middle school teacher.
Yeah.
I would like
his last match actually was a PWG Battle Royal.
Yeah, he was in PWG.
Yeah,
like that's fucking wild to think about.
They did a bunch of like Legends Battle Royals that are just like a bunch of old fat guys just barely moving.
It's fucking nuts, dude. Like early PWG, they had some fucking crazy shit. But then again, they had fucking at that one Battle of Los Angeles or All-Star Weekend or whatever, that 10-man tag where Liger got everybody to stick their thumbs in each other's asses and he
What we watched last night? That was
in the fucking so good. That's the if you like watch, there's a full video on it. There's a 10-minute video of that entire
I'm not watching that.
No, dude, it's hilarious. It's so funny. Just hearing Excalibur call it is the funniest thing because he's crying laughing the entire time.
All right, I might have to watch that.
It's so funny. It's dude, like Pete Dunne, like at the end, Chuck Taylor's like the second to last one. He just like calmly walks up and he's like, no, and he just goes thunk. Just like the most lackluster, just fucking. It's so fucking good. Yeah. They do another spot in there where they have a fake remote control, and Liger like pauses it.
Oh yeah, the pause,
and then he unpauses it, and then he puts it in slow mo.
Oh my god!
And like the crowd reacts in slow mo. Excalibur does all the commentary in slow mo. It's so fucking funny.
Early PWG's wild.
This wasn't even that early. This was like 2012.
Oh yeah.
Like this was like right before like because it had like the match had like Matt Riddle, Chuck Taylor, Sammy Callahan.
Oh, so like
Jeff
right before
Cobb.
they all went to NXT.
Yeah, like
so they did not give one fuck.
Yeah, it was like Cedric Alexander, Brian Kendrick, Pete Dunne, fucking Malachi Black's in it, and fucking Jushin Liger. Like you have all of these like indie stars and one of the most famous Japanese wrestlers of all time doing the silliest shit. And Liger's here for it. He's like, fuck yeah, dude, I'm on my retirement run. I'm having a good time with this. It's so fucking funny. But anyway, I digress.
Yes.
I mean, and then this match didn't really have a finish because going back to the first match where Ric Flair interrupted Mr. Perfect's match, Mr. Perfect comes out and attacks Ric Flair to end the match.
This match was the first time in a very long time I remember seeing a main event ended a no contest.
Yeah.
And breaking up that fight is like a who's who of people. You've got Sergeant Slaughter, Pat Patterson, Earl Hebner, Mike Chioda, fucking like I'm just seeing all these people.
Young Mike Chioda too. Like he had just got a job.
Young beaver tail Mike Chioda with that thick mullet. Dude, I popped so hard for that. I'm like, oh yeah, young Mike Chioda. That's awesome.
And then Rick issued a challenge to Mr. Perfect that the loser leaves WWF for for next week's episode.
Yeah.
And the thing is, like, it goes to a commercial break.
Yeah.
It comes back from commercial break.
For him to answer.
And it's like we're gonna get an answer from Ric Flair. And he's like, oh, maybe not. The fight is still going on. Like they spill out of the entranceway, still fucking going at it. Mm-hmm. It's like that's awesome that they kept it going to make everybody think like, oh my god, they were fighting that entire time. Like that's awesome. Then Flair comes out, yeah, he's like, WWF isn't big enough for the two of us. Loser must leave WWF. And then he leaves. Perfect comes out, accepts the challenge. So next week we get loser leaves the company match between Mr. Perfect and Ric Flair.
And then we ended with Repo Man and announcement for Repo Man and Randy for the next week too. Next week's gonna be I'm looking forward to next
episode's
week.
Lit.
Next week's episode's gonna be a good one.
I'm excited because then it was announced for Repo and Randy, and then it ends with Repo Man outside taking Rob Bartlett's car.
Towing away Rob's car. Because the entire time he's just like, hey, did you see my car out there?
Yep.
So good. So funny.
One thing I noticed was he seemed a lot quieter on commentary this episode. Rob did.
Rob Bartlett, yeah.
Yeah. He probably got told to shut up.
Oh,
yeah. They're probably like, you need to calm down.
Well, even Vince, like with like not as many jokes, like towards like the wrestlers, and like they both seemed a little bit more tame this time around.
I think I kind of think that they kind of got some like negative stuff from the network. From the network being like, all right, guys, come on, like be a little easy now.
Yeah, you can't tell people that they have their own airspace and.
You calm down on the fat jokes on Yoko, please.
Poor Yoko.
Poor Rodney. Why you gotta do that to Rodney? Come on.
Oh, God.
Not cool.
And you don't want to piss off Samoan because
Oh no, yeah, you piss off one of them, you're gonna have to deal with 50 of them.
Yeah.
The whole family, fucking aunts, grandmas, they're all gonna beat your ass.
It was like 5 of them were working for the company at this point.
Right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because you had Yoko, you had fucking
Samu.
Sabu?
Samu.
Oh, Samu. Yeah. Yeah, you had Samu and Fatu.
I think Off and Sika were working backstage for them at this point.
Yeah. So you had a lot of the NOIE family on deck. Like, don't fuck around and make one of them mad, because I wouldn't. Off and Sika were, old men at this point. I still wouldn't want to fuck with them.
They're still kicking ass to this day.
Oh yeah. And their grandkids are out there doing fucking wild shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking Jacob Fatu out here being a maniac.
And then that was it. That was the episode.
Yeah.
But
there wasn't a lot of actual like wrestling on it yet. It was the go home for the Rumble, so they needed to hype up this pay-per-view. I mean, it's one of the big 4, so like we gotta get all these pay-per-view buys.
Yeah, when they actually gave a fuck about their pay-per-views.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. When they didn't throw a bunch of like bullshit ones out to the people.
Yeah.
I mean, even though they thought they were good, in hindsight, some of them are. We'll see in later episodes. It gets a little fucky, but But the 93 Rumble is good. We'll forewarn you that the 93 Rumble is good.
I'm gonna probably watch that tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I'll probably watch that when we get done here.
Yeah, I got a birthday to go do, so.
Oh yeah, you gotta do that.
Because the next week, it's gonna be stacked. You're talking about the Rumble and then episode 3. It's gonna
be a good one.
Good.
It's gonna be a very good one.
All right, so that wraps it up for Queen Court for the Rumble Go Home show for the Rumble. On behalf of myself, the Tribal Queen, Husky Rhodes, Mike Duplessis, thank you guys for watching, and tune in next week.